share my screen. Everybody can hear me now. And I'm going to share my screen. I think it's important for a couple of reasons, just for people to know how much, how much does COVID actually cost a school district? When you talk about the different things that we have to do with personal protective equipment and all of that, and extra employees, what does that cost? So Zoe Kalinsky, who's our business official, and I put a presentation together that we gave to our Board of Education on November 9th. And just want to run through it quickly with you. So the first thing is I'm going to talk to you about last year's cost. If you remember, we closed up in March of last year, and we had some expenses that we had to have from March through the end of the school year. And then our school year starts again on July 1st. So we have expenses tracked from July 1st to now, and we actually projected some expenses from now through the end of the school year. Want to also give you some perspective on what we think has happened between now and what will happen between now and then. So to kind of get things kicked off here, I don't want you to spend a ton of time looking at each and every little line item here. I'm going to put both of these presentations, I'll make both of these presentations available to our community via our school messenger email, and I will also make these presentations available on our Facebook page so that people can have them. If you don't have Facebook and if you don't get our emails, just give us a call and we'll get you a copy of these, even if we have to print them out and get them to you. So what you're looking at basically is a cost comparison, if you will. And you can look on the left-hand side, there's salaries and benefits for 2019-20 and 2020-21. PPE stands for personal protective equipment. And then there's thermometers, there's signs we had to come up with, there's cleaning supplies, hand sanitizer. As you go down the list, there's legal expenses, delivery of meals to remote students. We had, and then last year was a year where we had to do graduation outdoors, A, due to our auditorium being reconstructed, but B, due to COVID. So we included that on here. So when you look down the column for 2019-20, you're going to see between March and the end of June, we spent $216,532 kind of extra dollars than we would have spent in a quote normal school year. And I want you to take a look at the next column. You can see that as of October 30th, 2020, which was when we did our last update, in some of those same areas, we've spent $189,176 as of October 30th, 2020. I'm going to go to the next slide. There's some things I want you to consider and take a look at. For 2019-20, while our expenses were $217,000 to call it even, it's estimated that the district saved about $126,000. And you would say, wow, where did we save that money? Well, when you're not running as many school buses as you normally are, and you're not maintaining everything the way that you normally are on the outside of the district, and you're not spending the money on tutoring costs because we're working from home and all of that, there's some significant savings, right? So we didn't have sports, so there were no athletic trips. We didn't have field trips. In our mowing, I'm the kind of person that says, I'm like a chef. I always say that people eat with their eyes. So we make sure that our grounds and everything are kept up very, very well, but we didn't have fields to prep for games and all of that. And there's expense saved. So when you get to the end of it, the net loss from March until June 30th of last school year was approximately $91,000. Now you might say, where do you get $91,000 off the money tree? No, that every school district should have what's called a fund balance or a savings account, right? So what happens is that gets absorbed into that savings account, if you will, and you have a little bit less in your savings than you had expected. We had planned for that loss, so we actually had cut some other expenses. So we ended last year in very, very good financial shape. And I think our budget reflected that, and our budget vote reflected that. I'm going to turn the page here, and look at 2020-21 considerations. And you can see that we've spent about $190,000 until October 30th. The thing is, we don't have nearly as many offsets to those expenses today as we did in the spring, because we're running sports as best we can. We're doing some tutoring. We are running some